Alright, greetings. Mr. Henry here. I'm going to show you how to do bearings. Alright, so as you see, we have the topic bearings. Now on your screen right now, I'm going to be putting the steps in which you need to follow so that you can actually calculate the bearings. The question would normally be something like, what is the compass bearing of something from something, or what is the grid bearing of something from something? So for example, alright, so for example, what is the compass bearing of the post office from the trig station 930? Of course, we're making up this example, but on your map that you're given, you would see the actual places or features that are on the map, and the question would normally look like this. Now, one of the first things we want to ascertain is, where are we starting from? What is our starting point? And in order to find out our starting point, we just repeat this simple phrase. Simple phrase. Always start from. Now that sounds redundant, I know. It sounds like it don't make no sense. But if we analyze the phrase, always start from, then we know that we're literally going to find the word from in the sentence, and we're going to start reading from that point. So, from is here. The thing that is after is trig station 930. So we know that that is our starting point, trig station 930. Let's say that is trig station 930. Hope you all can see it. I hope that's on the screen properly. Alright, so trig station 930. Alright, so following the steps, we already ascertained that trig station 930 is our starting point. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to create or draw a north-south line, a vertical line, through our starting point. So I'm using my trusty ruler. We draw a line through our start. This line doesn't look so hot. Let me do that over. So I don't want to block you, that's why my line wasn't as pronounced as it should. So we draw a faint line through our north-south. Then we're going to draw a line to connect both points that are in our question. So the question has post office and trig station. I hope I'm not blocking. So we draw a line. Alright, having drawn that line, we notice now that we have an angle that is created here, and we also have a bigger angle that is created around here. So there are two angles. So if we look further in, we're going to measure the angle, but we want to do it in a clockwise direction. We want to measure starting from here. Now this starting point is actually 0 degrees, but it is also an ending point. So it is literally 360 and 0 in one. But right now it is our starting point, and we want to measure all of this angle to find the bearing. So we're gonna do that. We want to notice this is the notch, this is the center. We want to find the middle point of the starting point, which is trig station 930. Notice how we have turned our protractor so that 0 lines up with 0. Some people have the mistake of turning the protractor like this. Not do it. Don't do it. We turn our protractor like this so that 0 lines up with our 0 line. Now, a little trick. Since we know that angles on a straight line measure 180, if we extend this north-south line, we know that all of this measures 1. Angles on a straight line measure 180. So we know already that from here to here is 180. So we now want to find out what is the angle that is created here. So we already know that the angle that is here is 180 degrees. We want to know what's the angle here. Since it's 180 already, we turn our protractor so that we can see. We see the 180 number here. We want to measure all the way around. Notice? So this is the 180. This is where our 0 is now, because we already measured to 180, so we want to follow the 0 all the way around. And you notice on if you can zoom in, you will see that it stops at 138. So all of this angle is 138. Now, if this is 138 and this is 180, when we add both of them, so 180 plus 138, we get 8. So our total bearing is 180 plus 138, and we get a bearing of 318 degrees. So very easy. Bearing is very easy. So the bearing of the post office from trig station 930 is 318 degrees. Now, what I normally advise students, if you want to make sure that you are on the right track and you want to validate your answer, you want to do a validity check, you want to double check, you want to cross-reference, you want to make sure that you have the right answer, then you just do something like this. We already know that you have north, south, west, east. The bearing of east is 90 degrees. The bearing of south is 180 degrees. The bearing of west is 270 degrees. And of course, bearing of north is 360 or 0 degrees. So if from all of this to here is 270, so 270 would be about here. See it here? If we draw upper line and we do that, from here to here would be 270. Let me get this out of the way so you can see what I'm talking about. 270 would be about here. So we know that we're on the right track when we say 318. And also 360 is right here. So we know that we are definitely on the right track. However, if you are measuring one of these angles and you get something like 100 and something or 90 something, you know your answer is going to be incorrect. So if you had just written down 138 as your final answer, the validity check, you should double check in your mind and say, no, it can't be 138 because angles on a straight line are already 180. 138 will be somewhere on this side. And so therefore our final answer could never be it has to be something over 200, over 270, and that's why our answer is 318. Alright, so this was a quick video. You can replay it, you can pause it, you can do everything until you get it. So follow the steps, and I hope this was beneficial to you in understanding how to calculate compass bearings. Peace. Mr. Henry out. Alright, so you said you want one more. So we have the factory and we have the reservoir. And the question is, what is the compass bearing of the reservoir from the factory? So we follow the same steps. I will put the steps on the screen. We're going to be following the same steps. So step number 1, we find our starting point, and we know that our starting point is the factory, because it says what is the compass bearing of the reservoir from the factory. So we draw our north-south line as usual. We draw our north-south line through our starting point. We draw a line which connects both. So that is our Alright, we want accuracy, so I won't tolerate mistakes like that. So it's just a little difficult trying to keep my big body out of the way so that you can see what I'm doing. So bam. So we draw a line connecting both points, and we want to measure the angle that is formed between the line, the north-south lines, and the line connecting both points. And we want to measure all the time in a clockwise direction. So we want to measure this angle. So now that we have the angle there, we get our handy protractor. What am I doing wrong? I'm holding the protractor wrong, right? Okay, cool. So we always want to center. See the center of the protractor. We want to establish a middle point in our starting point. So the factory, we say this is the middle point, and we place the protractor's middle point there. We line up the 0, and we measure right around. We are using the numbers on the outside. Use the numbers on the outside. So 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, all the way to right here. And the size of this angle is actually, so this is 120 right here, so that is 125. So this is actually 125, 126, 127, 128. So the size of that angle is 128 degrees. Notice where the thing is. It's right here, so we're measuring in a clockwise direction. So unlike the one that we did before, where we had what is called, I think that they are called reflex angles, we have an angle here that is actually less than 180. So that is fine. So the bearing of the factory from the reservoir is 128 degrees. Very simple, very easy. Not hard in it. Nothing to stress about. And as we always say, the bearings are a more precise way of giving the direction of a place. So in case the 16 points on the compass are insufficient to give you the direction of a place, we can work out the bearing of the place. So we're measuring the angle there. So we start off, we draw our north-south line. Then we draw our line connecting both points, the factory to the reservoir. Then we measure the angle that is formed between the two lines, and we use our protractor to do that, and we have our answer being 128 degrees. Alright, so thank you again for watching another video on how to do something geographical. Blessings.
One, draw a north-south line where you start from. 2, draw a next line, connect the two. 3, measure the angle you see. 4, if you want your answer secure, measure clockwise from north to be sure. And those are the steps. Those are the steps. Those are the steps. Here is class. Here is class. Here is class. Here is class. Here is class, follow me so and we must have this class. Here is class, follow me so class. Here is class. Here is class. Here is class. Got it.